king of positive mental attitude because everybody eats dirt in life. Let's be clear about that. Everybody watching this right now, yes, all of you, everybody eats dirt. And, you know, we all eat dirt. And I've ate a lot of dirt, but I'm a bad Charlie, you know that.
First responder.
Hey,
Good to have you in here.
Bill Jr. texted me. He said, man, he said, I love that one show. He said,
Let me,
I did everything.
Get around here and get this turned on.
I refer to his dad, you know. We just do. You're not going to get us. There's nobody getting nobody. Charlie, this was a storyline. And, you know, the storyline.
How y'all doing tonight? All right. Get it set up. Let me close this door. McMillan Cattle Company, good to have you in here. We're trying to get things set up. We're going to be inside tonight in the spare bedroom. Let's see, where am I going here? Search. Outfits garage right there. I'm going to get y'all on my monitor right here where I can watch. There you are. Now you can see my big fat belly. I have lost 50 pounds, though. I'm pretty particular about that. Wigan odometer dash and Holly Dominator computer in a 98 Chevy LSX Turbo. Kind of busy. I can understand that. We would be outside doing some stuff too, but I just didn't feel like going out there and getting cold tonight. It's I've been cold the last few nights and just hadn't felt like getting outside and getting in the shop, or it didn't feel like it tonight. So what 98 Chevy LSX Turbo, what's that what is it, a truck, a car, or what? I don't know what you got going there. As you can see here, this used to be my nephew's room. He's a baseball fan. He moved out, got married, got his own deal going. Silverado, I see that now. Can you sing a lullaby for me? I'm a 90-year-old man in a retirement facility and I can't sleep. I got a little song, tiddle-up, now it's all gone. That's it. Hi, boy. Hi. First responder, the guy wants 1,700 at the wheels on pump ethanol. That'd be pretty good power right there. Hello, Stabler YouTuber. That made an old timer relax. And my dear American son, yep. Market Stiller Mark, good day. Good old time to relax, mate. Yep, it's a good time to relax. It's cold outside. Cold outside. You must be from the land down under. Yep. See there? Work on the 77 more than I actually drive it. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Rose, Arkansas Rose, howdy. I'm a dying man and I really need escorts. Well, I can't help you there. Probably could find you a Ford Escort. We all should be thankful for Trump. I believe so. I really hope so. I I voted for him, and I really hope that hope everything turns out good. But a lot of mean people out there don't want things to work right. Yep, got that right. I like my coffee cup. It's the stuff's about worn off from it now. Nope, not a dairy farmer. Cheers from Manitoba, Canada. Good to have you in here, J Rides Customs. Classic Car Revivals. Hello from Two Harbors, Minnesota. That's a long ways up north from here. Yep, good to have y'all in here. We usually do 7 o'clock on Monday nights out in the shop, working in the shop, but tonight decided to just hang out here in the spare bedroom and do a live in here. And April Morrison, hello from Fort Francis, Ontario, Canada. Good to have you in here. Hello, Phil Bowles. I guess that's how you say it. I ain't got a clue. I run heavy equipment at my job is what I do there. Very cold in Maryland. I see that. Eddie, I don't even want to say your last name. I'll mess it up. Classic car revivals had 11 last night. You talking about 11 inches of snow? There's a couple of y'all guys in there I'm gonna pray for. Y'all ain't right. $11 below 0. I got you. Yeah, it's about 20 out here right now, I think, from what I understand. I don't know. I didn't even. It's going to be 20 tonight, from what I understand. It's going to be pretty cold. It's plenty cold. Too cold out in the shop. I've been doing quite a bit out there. So we've been working on getting a few things done, and out in the shop, but it's just that the furnace I got out there runs constant, and it's costing a little bit too much to run sometimes. So I think sometimes it's good just take off, let it rest, because I don't have any insulation in my shop, and it's too cold. So I just soon hang loose. Some of y'all car builders in there, what y'all got going? Some of these trolls in here, I ain't gonna respond to. Crazy Crunch, where am I from? I'm from Arkansas. That's where I'm from. Been here all my life. Where are you from? India. It's good to have you in here. Rhoda Rock, where are you from? Nope, that ain't gonna happen. Not gonna happen. From Sweden, I say. First responder, about 42 degrees here in Georgia. Yeah, it's we still got some snow on the ground here. It's trying to melt, but in the shade, it's still there. It's pretty cool. Fire's out, still burning. Yeah. First responder, you coming to No Name Nationals this September? We've got a little S10 Chevy S10 project we're going to try to get in the shop before long, and we got to get a motor built first, but we got that we're thinking about taking. Yes, sir. You bringing your Durango back? Decided not to go turbo. I pulled the cam and refreshed the motor. I finally got the cam designed to run NA. Well, that's a good deal. Turbo cam going on the shelf. There you go. Go NA on that thing. Got a 318 for it. Sounds good. I gotta put a cover over this vent. No, I'm not a baseball player. My nephew was. He loved baseball. I too old to play baseball. I like watching a little bit of it. I like racing about as much as anything. Yeah, I might have to. I can reach it. I see one-eyed cats in there. Good to have you. I may have to get down to the floor to do this. That'll probably help. Caleb's in here. Good to have you in here. You the Caleb I know. What am I doing? Just sitting around? I am just sitting around. Too cold outside, too hot in here. One-eyed cat. Ain't you the one that has the old Dodge car that had the 4-barrel on the front and 2-barrel on the back? I'm gonna employ 440 parts on my engine. Rebuild this spring. That'd be good. What's my hobby? Probably working on cars. Yes, I thought so. 5-barrel. That's what I remember that. That's the coolest thing. The thing looked like it run pretty good that way too. Yeah, we've got a Chevy S10 that we're going to be trying to get a motor built for and get it in the shop here before long. It's a little short bed S10. It's going to be Doug's truck, and see if we can't get it running and riding, and it ought to make a pretty hot little truck. My hobbies are too expensive, so I work 3 jobs and have no time for projects. Yeah. I don't have time for projects because I have too many hobbies. You bought the car that way and run it for 10 years. Maybe people look twice. Yeah, I like the old car myself. Rosin Outdoors. Do you like fishing? Yeah, I like to fish. It's just been a long time since I've done it. This year, the Durango will be there. Good deal. Lost your jobs, now you're sleeping. That'd probably be a pretty good thing to do. That or get out, find another job. There's always another job. 53 years old. I've had a job since I was 15 years old. And worked before that. A little S10 we're going to build is going to be a 350 small block, probably turbo 350 transmission. I like the vehicles you don't see on the road. Don't get me wrong. I like the 56 Chevy single post, but rather see a Valiant go fast. Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. I like seeing the odd stuff myself. It's getting a fresh motor and trans for this year No Name Nationals with a fat cam, compliments of Just Mopar Joe. Hey, he'll hook you up. He just lives right down the road from me here, about 30 miles, 25, 30 miles from me. And I'm telling you, he knows what he knows what he's talking about on them Mopars. Yep. Be right back. Gonna top my coffee off real quick. Okay. Okay. Kind of looking forward to this little S10 project because it's my 75 Chevy C10 I took last year, not the year before actually. Let's see, Wilburn and Cope built my trans. I almost have to prove myself now. Got to try to prove your driving ability for sure. It shouldn't be too bad, but I believe it'll run pretty good. 440 with a Wilburn Cope, or a Cope transmission by Wilburn, you can put it that way. It ought to be pretty good. The that S10 deal is it's going to have a pretty good little cam in it. This small block 350 with Vortec heads and air gap intake, and probably a 700 on top of it. Maybe a 850. We'll see what it'll take. I don't know what it'll handle. Pretty sure it'll handle that 700 though. I got a tall gear, and I'm not placing yet until it don't work no more. Yeah, understand that. Crazy crunch. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, the cars. That's what we do. Car stuff. We're probably going to cut down a Explorer rear end or something like that, putting that S10. We may run the rear end that's in it, the stock whatever that Chevrolet 10 bolt that's in that S10 is, 7.5 inch, 8.5 inch, whatever they are. But probably going to leave that in there until it breaks, which probably won't be long. And then we'll probably going to cut down a 9 inch to fit it and order a set of Mosier axles or Strange axles or something like that, put in it. And then it ought to be a pretty hoss little rig, either a 9 inch or a 8.8 Explorer rear end. If we did that, it'd be a whole lot easier because Explorer rear ends, they most of the time have disc brakes on them already. So we went to me and my wife and sister and brother-in-law went to up north Arkansas yesterday and looked at a bunch of old rigs. You can go on YouTube and look up Jennings Motorsports. You may have already found him on there, but Jennings Motorsports on YouTube, and he's got a bunch of old stuff. He does a lot of Willet starts, and I'm talking 70, 80, 90-year-old vehicles. He'll get them running. It looks like he, one of them I seen, I forget what it was, no Plymouth Pontiac or something. It was upside down in a field and been there for years. I mean, years, probably upside down for 40 years. He flipped that thing over, loaded it on a trailer, and got it home. Went to work on it. Had no flathead six cylinder in it, and wound up having to bust the two end cylinder or pistons out of it. But he kept messing with it and got it running with them rods just flopping around in the cylinder. He can do some amazing stuff. He just don't quit. He just keeps on piddling with that. And go on there sometime and look him up, Jennings Motorsports on YouTube. I'm telling you. Anyhow, my brother-in-law bought an old truck off of him, bought an old 46 Chevy 1.5 ton. And he's got a 46 Ford COE that I fell in love with. I'm a little big for it, but I fell in love with it. But I keep talking myself out of it because I look at how thick my wallet is, and it's pretty thin. So I decided real quick, I think I'm probably not going to buy it, but I really like it. Really like it. And I'll make a little video of it and put it on this week. But I didn't get a video of that truck, but the 46 Ford, but got a little bit on video of the vehicle my wife wants, Mama Outfit. There's a little mail carrier van, a little square box van. Has a little 4-cylinder in it, about that long. Little bitty, they call it suitcase 4-cylinder or something. It's a Jeep. Little bitty motor. And the motor's locked up. He said he's been soaking on it for 2 months. So putting acetone and marble mystery oil, transmission fluid, diesel fuel, everything you can think. He's got it down in it soaking in it, just not turning loose. But it needs a motor in it, and she really, really likes it, really wants it. It's kind of surprised me she wanted it, but it's got yak fur on the ceiling. Yak fur. Stuff hangs down this far. It's the craziest thing. Craziest thing. I don't know. That would have to come out though, I can tell you. I said if I got it, I'd probably put a LS motor in it. I think Sleeper Dude did one, pretty much an identical vehicle. What Sleeper Dude has on YouTube. Wallet, yeah. Wife Wendy wasn't crazy about the 760 converter, $760 converter that Santa has a few days late on, but she loves me. That's the same way with Mama Outfit. She's pretty good to me. I try not to do anything that puts us in a bind, but she pretty much lets me do whatever I need to do out in the shop. I let her do whatever she wants to do in here and wherever she wants to go, whatever. But we're just limited by money is all, like everybody. We've been together. This will be 25 years, so February 5th. Be 25 years, so it's going pretty good. I have no complaints. Yeah, you're only going to spend that money once. That's right. It's hard to make it back, especially doing what we do. Yep. Old Jennings, Dustin Jennings is his name. He's in Calico Rock, Arkansas. You can look that little town up. It's got a little ghost town in it, they call it. They try to make it a little, it's the old part of town. It's basically abandoned. And he's got his storage lot, I guess you could say, in one section of that part of town. So, you and your wife will be married 30 years September 30th. That's awesome. Congratulations. Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. That old car you got, does it got the, what is it, 7 1/4, 7 3/4, or 8 3/4 rear end, whatever those, I can't remember what the 9 1/4 and a 7 or 8 3/4, I think's what. And then I had a smaller one, a 7 and what is it, 7 3/4, something like that. Well, on the rear end, I should say. Because you put a lot of power to it, you may have to have you one of them bigger rear ends. Hot Rod Guy Garage, good to have you in here. Good to have you in here. Have you made any progress on your LT Cleveland? That's very interesting to me. Very interesting to me. I like watching people do stuff that's out of the ordinary. If I could get a pair of heads, I'd probably do it myself. I've got a Windsor block. I've got a 302 block. It'd probably be easier done, like I say, on a Cleveland. I know some guys that put the LS heads on the 7 1/4 247 gear. I told you it was tall. Yeah, it's tall gear. It currently has a 7 1/4 in it. Okay. Jim's Fastback Garage. Howdy, Russell. Howdy, Jim. How's the weather out in the Carolinas? I messed with it more being in a holding pattern. I can understand that. Waiting on your cylinder head guy to be ready to port them. I understand. Hippie Miller, good to have you in here. You've probably seen the other guy. There's one guy on YouTube, and I can't remember his name. He took a stock bottom end Windsor and put LS heads on it and turboed that thing and got 900 and something horsepower out of a stock bottom end before he broke it. He kept pushing it till he broke it. He built bought a sheet metal intake and then split it down the middle and welded it back together. But put the twin turbo on it, had a cam designed for it. It worked out pretty good. But now, from what I understand, he's trying to do the LT heads on a Windsor, but that's been a year or so ago, and hadn't seen anything else what he did. I don't know. It's going pretty good. HP, we decided to do our little live inside because it's too cold out in the shop tonight. I've got a little sitting there reading it. That made me think of the Mustang project you got going. I've got a little Mustang out at my old place where I grew up at. 18 at your house tonight. Yep. I've thought about dragging that thing to the house, and it's rough as a cob. I mean, rough. I'd have to get a bonded title for it. But I've also found another Mustang body that somebody has cut off at the firewall, cut the front clip off of it, but he still got it. But it looks like a pretty good body hull, and he's got title and everything for it. I can get that car for $200. All it is just a body hull with front suspension laying upside down, you know, with the front clip. I mean, it don't have any fenders, no doors. Pretty much basically stripped. Yeah, it's rough. I can promise you. The one I've got, I had seen my whole life, and I finally talked the old boy out of it, and I got it, brought it home, and best way to make a Mustang fast is to put a Chevy engine in it. Well, I guess, but I I think you can make a pretty good motor out of the Ford. But I drug that old Mustang home. That don't have any floor pans in it. It's got the glass in it. Needs 2 doors. Needs 2 fenders and hood. Needs front cap. Uh, and I'd like to get that thing home and get it on some jack stands in my shop and go to work on it. Needs some floor pans. I know you can get floor pans pretty cheap, but I ain't worried about making it original. I just want to try to get that thing together. And I've thought about kind of basically hot rodding it a little bit um, with suspension. I don't know. Probably just leave the leaf springs in the back, but I'm thinking in the front. I thought about taking a Crown Vic if I could figure out how to do it. Take a Crown Vic front suspension and cut it down, narrow it up. I seen a guy do that one time. He split that aluminum cross member in half and brought it in to where it would fit, and weld it back together. I'd have to have a good aluminum welder. I could probably locate that, but put that Crown Vic front suspension under it. But this other car I found for 200, it had front suspension under it. So yeah, that's my thought. Is the Crown Vic front end would make it a whole lot more comfortable to drive with rack and pinion, everything. It just seemed. I always liked the Maverick. So far as Ford, yeah, I used to have a Maverick. Really liked it. But I thought about that Crown Vic. That's been on my mind. I don't know how much wider that would be than the Mustang. I haven't done a throw the tape measure on it. I just need to get the car home and get to looking at it, and I guess probably get me order a pair of repop fenders. I guess because I know you're not going to find good fenders anywhere. So and so just start on a project. Mama Outfit has always wanted a 66 Mustang. She wanted one. She wanted a candy apple red, and that's been on my mind for years to try my best to get her a Mustang going. 3 to 3.5 inches wider, so that would be 1.5 inches on each side, or 2.5 inches or so on each side. Ain't so bad. It'd look pretty cool though. Do that and put a 8.8 under the rear of it. Maybe out of a older model Crown Vic, and I know the later model Crown Vics had a wider rear end, but you could put the narrower rear end under it and make it sit out right out to the edge, if not out just a little bit. Maybe do some fender, what do you call them, flares. I've seen some body kits and stuff. I think that looks kind of cool on some of them, but I don't know. We'll just figure it out. But depending on what wheel you use, I guess. I've got some ideas in that to make it work. Kind of bubble the fenders out, or maybe put some 18-inch wheels or something on it. Fox body stuff, put mine about flush on the front and back. Well, that's good to know. And I've even thought about doing a chassis swap. Because this old car I've got is, like I say, it's rough underneath. I thought about finding me an old Fox body and cut the, I hadn't even done the wheelbase measurement, but they ought to be pretty close. And do a body swap, cut the firewall out and do the same thing on that Mustang and just set that body over on a Mustang, or Fox body Mustang chassis. If I have to lengthen it or shorten it or whatever, that ain't a problem. I can do that too. If I can do this other. So that'd be a pretty neat deal too. And then you could have still yet get your rack and pinion front steering. If I just had $1 million, like I saw, if we just had $1 million apiece, we could build about whatever we wanted to build. And one thing I don't like, y'all tell me this, does it turn y'all off whenever you go to watching a video and they talk about budget builds and then they break out a $500 intake or a $1,000, $1,500, $200, $2,000 set of heads and things like that when they start talking about budget builds, or they have a $3,000, $4,000 transmission that they're going to put in this thing, and and before you know it, they've got $50,000 sitting there. The chassis swap is probably the easiest way to go from what I've measured. Difference is mostly forward of the firewall and wheelbase, but wouldn't be hard to push the K-member forward. Yeah, I could figure that. Yeah, unlimited budget. Yeah, that's what I was talking to Chuck down at BB Cylinderhead today, and they do some of the finest work in Arkansas that I know of. They do they do some really nice head work, and that's who does all my stuff. Unless I'm just piecing an old motor together to putting something just to get going, but Chuck said today, he said that I wish I had an unlimited budget. Got that right. But Chuck said that he was watching one video the other day, and they were talking about budget builds, and they broke out a real high dollar intake, and he said he just flipped it and went to another channel. He said that when they talk budget, their budgets are different from our budgets. Yeah, I know what you mean there. Cutting junk up until the day you fall over. I'm the same way. I've been doing this since I was 9. I think I was 9, 10 years old, and when my dad we didn't have a shop when I was little. Ultimate budget or unlimited budget means I don't have to get up at 4:30 in the morning, right? Yep, that's it. But my dad would be working on somebody's car or this and that. He used to do bus transmissions and clutch transmissions and stuff for the school down the road, and he would he'd do mechanic work for people, whatnot. But he had an old shade tree. He's premier quintessential shade tree mechanics, what my dad was. And he had a big old oak tree, had a limb like that big around on it, had a chain wrapped around it. And if he needed to pull a motor, he had an old double pulley chain hoist, and he'd pull out them old motors. I called it a chain horse because it would horse them old motors out of the cars. But it's old style, and I don't know whatever happened to it, but wished I still had it because that was we pulled a lot of motors with that old chain hoist. But anyway, he had a little aluminum dish pan about this big. Yeah, built it all in the driveway, and had a little dish pan about like this. And we got out there. I asked him if I could help him, and he had a pan of gas. And this was back in the day. You got 5 foot from a pan of gas with a lighter, and it'd blow up. I mean, that's the good gas. Everybody knows what I'm talking about on that. But he said, if you want to wash them parts up, and had an old part of a t-shirt or something, and they'd be washing up valve covers, and boy, I'd just get in there and I'd get it. And I thrived on making them parts clean as I could in a gas pan, not knowing the dangers of it. And I wash them parts up, and I got to thinking about that later on when I got older, and I said, it's a lucky I didn't burn alive. You know, about all of us have probably done the same thing, wondering we didn't burn alive washing them old parts up like that. But he didn't use diesel. He said that stinks, so we used gasoline, and it was back when gas was potent. And anyhow, we wash them old parts up. I was 9 years old. I've been messing with that stuff ever since. I've always been interested. I still ain't a premier engine builder or anything like that. I can take one apart and put it back together, my eyes closed. But I've never been one for getting everything down to the tolerances of half thousandths or thousandths and all of those things. It just if it's close, it's good. I've reused bearings before. Matter of fact, that 327 that I had in that stock car the first year of the No Name Nationals, that motor, when I got it, it was in a 65 2-ton C60 truck. And I wound up pulling the motor out of it and was going to use the motor, but my brother-in-law wanted the motor, so I sold it to him, and he let it set. He covered it up, put it out in the field, covered it up, and I finally talked him out of it and got it back about 5 years later. And he had everything covered up, but you know how it is, you leave something set outside, it's going to get rained in. And the cylinders was all rusted up, and I had to take a block of wood and beat the pistons out of it. So there's no 327. Anyway, I got it apart, cleaned it up, and I've got videos on it back 2 years ago of the 327 build. I had a set of 327 double hump heads out here in the shop. I looked them over, and anyway, Steve Myrick from Big Block 402, he sponsored a set of flat top pistons for it, so I put them in and reused the bearings that was in that motor and bought a new gasket set. And trying to think, I think I even reused the oil pump that was in that motor because it wasn't hurt. Just had water in the cylinders, didn't have any water in the oil pan. And I took the oil pump apart, cleaned it, made sure everything was good on it. put that thing all together, fired that thing up, and I put a brand new camshaft in it from Comp Cams and wiped that joker out in 10 minutes. Um, I know people say, well, you didn't do it right. No, it was the lifters. The lifters are what's the problem. You got to spend the money on the lifters. If you're going to build a new motor with a new cam, if the camshafts aren't the problems, it's the lifters. So if you're doing Chevrolet, go to GM, go to the parts store and order. I have to get the part number, but General Motors makes excellent lifters. I know Comp Cams makes good ones now, but they've got a little line on the bottom of them. But an engine builder that's down the road from me said to always use the General Motors lifters, not an aftermarket. And he said he's done numerous engines and never had a failure because he uses those lifters. You can use whatever cam you want, just use those lifters. Anyway, I put that motor together and it wiped the cam out. And I pulled the pan off of it, cleaned it all out, washed everything the best I could, and then put another camshaft in it. I actually put a solid lift cam in it this time, put it all back together, fired it up. And I was 3 days, 2 or 3 days from having to leave, go to Sikeston, Missouri, and I am wore out. I'm working till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning in the shop on this car. Been doing that for a month at that time, and getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning going to work, and working 10 hours a day, getting off at 5:30, coming home, eat a little supper, and get out in the shop and go to work. Work till 1 o'clock in the morning, do it again, and that I was wore out. But I took that stock car to Sikeston, or we did, me, Matthew, and Doug, and I ran Steve Myrick, drag raced that stock car down the strip and outran Big Block 402 in his 65 Chevy. Yeah, the old lifters was good. They say the Comp Cams has got the new style lifters. They've hardened the bottom of them, and you can see the difference. It has a not an imperfection, but a color line that comes up about so far, about 3/16 of an inch on the bottom of the lifters, where they've case hardened those lifters on the bottom, and they say those are doing really good. But the Comp Cams lifters, I don't know if you're having to pay extra for those. I just haven't. But the General Motors lifters are $225 from what I understand for a set of those lifters. I wish it wasn't so high. I mean, but it's cheaper than tearing that engine back down and redoing it. Me too. I hope Edelbrock changes some things. Got Comp Cam 20 years ago for a Cleveland, and I didn't use it. I bought a new cam and lifters directly from Comp 7 years ago, and it broke in just fine. Well, yeah, see, COVID's what messed everything up. During COVID, whatever the reason is, people quit. They just started mass producing stuff to try to get stuff back out after being shut down, and they wasn't. I don't think they were heat treating the bottoms like they were supposed to. Bottoms of those lifters, and because the cam profiles, all those things were the same. It's just the lifters were junk. And I watched Ellis Machine, I think is his name, on YouTube. He does some odd stuff. He had the 306 cylinder that had the cut up Cleveland heads on it. That was in the what class was that? It was in a Pinto, and he was out running 427 Chevrolets with it. But he had a Cleveland had 2 cylinders, 2 cylinders, and 2 cylinders. They were welded together, but Cleveland head, welded together for it. And it was an oddest looking setup, a lot of epoxy and all of that, because they raised the exhaust ports way up, getting the flow better, and some more stuff on the intake side. But he got that, I can't remember his name. I think it's Ellis Machine is what it is on YouTube. But anyway, he talked about that problem, and he said it was the lifters. And I've watched old Pal on YouTube, and he just wants everybody to go to roller. So, but some of these classes we run, I ain't letting nobody run roller. And also the rollers are lots more expensive. I've got a roller cam in that big block 402 in my 75 Chevy truck, the smoke show, we call it. And I've got about 2 or 3 lifters in it. I don't know if it's the lifters going bad, or I know a lot of people talk about the lifter bores in a big block have problems, and it may be that the lifter bores are wore out. I don't know, but some reason or other, I'm not getting enough. I don't know if I'm getting enough oil pressure to those lifters. That's roller cam, but they bleed off like as soon as you stop cranking it. If the rocker is down, it just bleeds off just like that, and that tells me there's a problem in the lifter or the lifter bore. It goes just that quick, and it rattles. You know, I don't mind a rattle, but I've tried to get the rattle out of it, and as soon as I try to tweak that, pull it around just a little bit and fire it back up, I'll put a 1/4 inch or 1/4 turn of adjustment in it, and it'll cause it to miss because it's too tight. So it's got me thrown for a loop. That's what I was thinking, that the lifters are probably bad. I've got a flat tappet cam here that's a little, well, I say a little better. It's got a better profile for sound wise. I thought about putting it in, and I've got a set of used lifters out here. I probably, when I get a chance, I may just pull that roller cam out and throw this other cam in. I think it's I'd be lying if I tried to say what brand it is, but it's got a 288 duration to it, and I don't know exactly the lift, but I think it's a comp cam. But the guy I got it from is a drag racer, and he said it'd pick up the potatoes, and he said it had a pretty good sound to it. Where this cam that's in that truck's got a real straightable cam in it, real smooth, and if I want that, I'll drive my wife's van. If I'm gonna have a hot rod, I want it to sound like a hot rod. So I may swap out that camshaft, and when I do that, I've got to be careful for my valve springs. So, hydraulic roller cam, the valve springs may be all right for it with that hydraulic flat tappet. We'll just have to see. I don't know. I'll talk to the guys down at the cylinder head shop down here and see what they say. They're pretty good whizzes on that. But it's not all the lifters that's doing that. It's just it's mainly on 2 cylinders, and yeah, I might try to talk to them and see what it'd take. It wouldn't take me very long to swap that cam out, so I don't know. Take longer to pull everything off the front of the motor. That's what's aggravating. I got all that serpentine set up on the front, and it's heavy. So but anyway, what what y'all got going tonight? Anything? Anybody got? I know it's I got a week's worth of trying to figure out stuff to do at work, because I run that road grader and everything's wet and soggy. Still got we can't touch the roads with the road grader, so I don't know what I'm gonna do there. Let me check something real quick. Oh. Holy. Hot Rod Russell. Who grinds cams for the Ford 250 straight six? There is a guy, I'll have to look that up, but there's a guy out in Oregon or Washington, I can't remember. But let me try to find him. But he'll take your cam and regrind it to whatever you want. And he said he may even have specs. I mean, some cams, he's got a stock room of these big Gaylord boxes that's just a warehouse full. He said all these are cams, and I'm like, man, I seen the video. It's massive. But you send him your cam and he'll regrind it. Delta Cams, that's it. Yeah, Delta Cams, and look them up, and he can take it, and if you got one damaged, he can fix it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, they can do anything. I've seen them do just about everything. Yep. I think I seen your hot rod guy. There's one video on Sleeper Dude's deal. I think I seen your. Didn't you have Geo on one of his car shows one time? They had that. I believe it was at the church. I think I had a video on that, or seen a video. I took a short of it and put it up on my videos. So I know he said when he seen that little turbo Geo going down, he said, "I know that old boy." He seemed like a really good guy. The other day he was talking about on his Model T project, trying to figure out what to do as far as motors. I commented, and he said something about an old Y block, and I told him, I sent him a message. I said, I think a Y block would be perfect for that old deal. And yeah, I could understand that. He's in that shop all the time now. But I sent him a message on one of his comments and told him, I said a Y block would be perfect for that old rig. I like to see people take a Y block and build it. But I said, I've got a 4-barrel intake, a factory 4-barrel intake for a Y block. And I sent him word on that, but I don't know if he got it. But if he needs that intake, I told him I'd give it to him. So if you see him or anything like that, if he wants that intake, I'll get that intake to him somehow. But it's a factory. I don't know if he'd want it or not, but it's a factory 4-barrel Y block intake. I've got a 2-barrel intake too, but I mean, that comes on all of them. But I know the 4-barrel intake was a little bit more rare. I got it off of they was a pair of the 55 and the 56 Ford Crown Vics, not necessarily Crown Vics. I think, what's the one, a fair Fleet Master or something, I forget what it was called. Anyway, I got those couple of intakes laying in the cars. I wound up getting the intakes. I got the 3-speed transmission out of one of them. The other one had an automatic. I guess it was a Ford-O-Matic, probably a 2-speed Ford-O-Matic. But he wound up selling the cars after I got that stuff out of it. Had 3-blade fans on them. That's the first time I'd seen 3-blade fan in one of them cars. I got one of those. That was interesting. But I got the 3-speed transmission out of, and the 2 intakes and a fan. But I wanted to get the cars. I could have got both cars for $600, but they were pretty rough, and I didn't know if Mama Outfit was going to let me bring anything else home at that time. But that would have been, I'd have loved to have done a project like that. I've been wanting to find me a Y block and go through it, but they're a little more expensive to do. I've got a 302 that's sitting in my shop that I need to put a crankshaft in it. When I do that, I don't know what I'll do with it, but I want to build it for that Mustang project. I guess I could get these Chevy V8s built that I've got, and then put that 302 on the stand and start going through it. And that way my engine will be ready when I get it. You know where one is? Y block. Which the Tri-5 Fords were as popular as a Chevy. I know that. I found a 56. A guy down the street here has a 56 2-door 56 Chevy 2-door. I think it's a post car. You got one, the 63 F100. Okay. I bet you ain't gonna get rid of it though, are you? But this old boy has a guy I know has a 56 Chevy. I've been looking to try to find a 55 Chevy, and those things you might as well go ahead and mortgage a house, try to get one of them. But this thing needs floors from the firewall to the trunk, and which I understand that, but it's got a frame under it, and he's got a VIN tag on the car, so it can get a title here in Arkansas. And I may have to holler at you on that, Travis, sometime. But the guy wants $850 for this. A 55 is my dream car to ever have. I don't know that I'll ever own one unless I buy one like that 56 I'm talking about. So I could probably get away. He got one that's frozen up, that's stuck. Yeah. Fill them cylinders full of acetone and transmission fluid. That's what Dustin Jennings does from Jennings Motorsports. He fill them full of acetone and transmission fluid. That acetone will work on that rust. But that motor freed up there, Travis? Does it roll over? I don't know what I do with it, but you know how I am. Yeah, 55 Chevy car. That's my favorite. That's my favorite car of all time. My wife's is a 66 Mustang. What you want to put in that old truck? In that 63? Or is that a parts truck? I gotta run. I'll be back if you're still on. All right, Hot Rod Guy, appreciate you jumping in here. And we'll catch you if we're still in here after a while. If not, we'll see you later. All righty. Yeah, send me a pic of it, and I won't be able to see it because I got my phone set up over here doing the live. But what I haven't got to see a whole lot of what's going on up there in Carolinas, but what you got working on there, Jim? I know you was going to try to get that old 256 cylinder going. I've got a 300 6-cylinder here in my shop. It's supposed to be it'll spin over. It's supposed to be a really good motor. It come out of I think it's a 58 or 59 Ford 65 Comet. That's right. I forgot about that. You gonna be able to get that to the no names this year? I just wonder if I could get that old 65 Mustang to the house, and I wouldn't have to get it titled or nothing right yet, but if I could get that thing to the house, I bet I could get a motor in it and running and driving and bring that to the No Name Nationals. That'd be something. Travis knows the car I'm talking about. I got it from him. Circle Track Tribute. Okay. Hey, I brought a Camaro Circle Track car first year I was here. That's the No Name Nationals. That ain't a problem. They'll let you run it as long as you got a drive shaft loop in it, and they can, you know, if old Deke will let you through on tag. He gets a little stricter every year. I said last year I didn't know if I'd come go back or not, but things just didn't work out to take old Smoke Show with me. But this year I think we're planning on trying to get that S10 of Doug's running and take it. So yeah, it was a factory 289 a hypo too. Yeah, I've still got the car, unless somebody stole it, and I don't think anybody's gonna steal it. It's sitting down at the old shop. I want to get that thing at the house and get out here and get it on some jack stands and go to work on it. I'm gonna do that bad. I found another body. Forgot where. I don't know where it was at actually, but it was a body for $200. Had everything. Well, just a body. I had a title with it, and that's what I was looking at. Had a title and bin tag. Maybe I could take the pair of them, and this one I got from you. It's still got the dash and windows or windshield and back quarter glasses, back glass. It's got all that in it. It needs doors, quarters. Yeah. I don't know exactly what all that bin tag says on it, but the old boy that Travis Davis there, I got the car from him, and his daddy had drove that car years ago. It was a pretty hot little Mustang back in the day. Unfinished project. How you doing there? Outfit live. Yep, we're in the outfit live. Yep, it's got a couple dents in it now. Ain't bad. I mean, just in the quarters, but the quarters, to do it right, the quarters have to be cut off and put some new quarters on it. But I ain't gonna worry about that. I ain't worried about it at all. I just want to get the thing. I'd like to see it come back to life. That's my deal. Is drag something out of the weeds like that, and uh, that'd be that's my plans for my next project. Get through with some of these race cars. And the way racing is doing, they're talking about shutting basically all the tracks down around here. So Batesville's talking about sailing, and Plummerville, it's still up in the air whether it's going to open or not. I heard today that it's probably going to reopen. But these things are over an hour from us. Every racetrack's over an hour from us. Batesville's the closest one, and it's I don't know. It's getting aggravating to think about that. So we got to try to get Matthew's car done, and anyhow, I'm gathering up a few more pieces and parts for it here and there. But the 60 that old Mustang, it still has a dash in it, the gauge cluster, the heater box. This other Mustang I found for 200, it don't have nothing in it. It's a body hull, but like I say, it's got a title, so it makes things a whole lot easier dealt with. Take the two and make one. And like Hot Rod Guy Garage there was talking about a while ago, we may take that. If I could get a title for the 65, I might just obtained a 65 289 the other day, complete rebuild, has eat up camshaft, good builder. That'd be awesome. I've got a 302 that Chuck down at BB has a steel crank I'm supposed to get from him. I'm gonna put that steel crank in that 302 and make a motor for that Mustang. I've got a 3-speed transmission, but I'm probably gonna go automatic. I need to get me a C6 or C4. Get a C4 transmission to go in it so that Mama Outfit can drive it. So if I can get a title for that car, and get this other car too, might do if I could get a 85 or I say 85, a Fox body Mustang, I could do a body swap and on that I think it's a 66 Mustang, but it's somebody's gutted it basically. Basically all you're buying is a body hull and a title. So we may go that route. But I get off this live, I may holler at you, Travis, there on that you was born with a 4-speed. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to have a 4-speed car myself. But Hot Rod 302. Hot Rod 302 with a 4-speed Mustang, that'd be awesome. A 289, either one. .302 just got just a touch more stroke in it. I guess. Yeah, or is it a little bit more bore? I can't remember. I've lost track on the Ford motors. If the 302, I think it's stroke. It's different. I know the 302 has 3-inch stroke, or is it? Yeah, 3-inch stroke. Yeah, that's what I thought. Then the 289, 289 has just under a 3-inch stroke. But I guess a fella could build a 289 out of a 302, can't you? If you have the crank. If that be the case, a fella could build him a long rod 289. That might be a little bit more expensive to build, but a long rod 289 would definitely run better. Oh yeah, and broke a rod when he missed a gear. Why that car was parked. That's a shame. He could have put anything back in it, 302 or anything, kept it on the road. Yeah, that's what you got to be careful about, overwinding them. Shorter stroke, yep. You can make 302 do pretty good. I promise you that. I know an old boy that was porting on a set of 302 heads one time and went off into the water jacket. I don't know if Travis remembers that guy or not. I remember an old boy doing that though. I think he was porting on a set of 302 heads to go on his little Cobra, his little Mustang Cobra. Travis might remember that guy. I think I was there that day up at Y&Y Auto Salvage, and I heard somebody say, "Goshy, goshy," come out running out of that shop. Yep, I remember that day. Took a little too much, yeah. See now, I mean, if we'd have known, we could done some epoxy work on that and fixed them heads. They people do that all the time now. I couldn't believe it. Oh, I didn't know that there was even such a thing, but they epoxy them, fix them. Oh, Junior Gavin, you probably remember him, on Micah Gavin's dad. They had done that on a head and cut it too much, just a little bit, and they reshaped the exhaust ports on a 2300 head, and went in and done some epoxy work on them. Made the flow come out different on the 283 or 2300 head. But I talked to Andy Woods with Unity Motorsports out in, I think he's in South Carolina. And he told me some tricks to do if I wanted to do like a 331 with that 302. He talked about using 2300 rods. So in one of them one time, he's tried two or three different things, but I said, if that be the case, I know a guy that would have a bunch of 2300 rods. So, but the little 2300 rods are little bitty short rods. That's the only problem. But with that short deck and that 302, you don't have a whole lot of room. So, took the 347 out of your little car. This little 289 has the good closed chambered heads on it too. Yeah. 347 those are pretty good Hoss little motors. I thought about, I was talking to Andy Wood about that on those, about doing a 347, and he said 347s are good. He said, but the wrist pin gets up in behind the oil gland, and you have to have a certain kind of ring to make that work. He said the 332s or whatever, that 331s were the better, or the better engines to build. Yeah, I've heard the 318 rods would work too. There was a guy supposedly that used to run y'all's mud pit out there that had I think it was a Windsor block, or a Windsor block or Windsor motor with 318 Dodge rods and some kind of Chevrolet pistons. I don't know if it was that they had put in that, just junkyard that motor together, and that old, I think it was an old Bronco. That thing would flat run now. I can't remember who that was that had an old Bronco. They was other guys spent thousands of dollars that would have better motors and run better, but that, for a junkyard motor, that's what I like building anyways, cheap junkyard stuff. I think the 318 rod is a little longer than it. I know it's got to be longer than the 302. And what that helps, the longer rod helps for RPMs. That's basically all it helps for, is helps with your higher RPM stuff, and it keeps from putting a side load drag on your pistons, and so, and that helps your motor get to a higher RPM and without friction, less drag, I should say. Less deflection. Yeah, that's that. You got it right, Mr. Jim. Yep. I'd like to experiment on some stuff. I got my, I went to machine shop today, the head shop. I got my 400 crank back, and I'm probably going to, unless I could find a 400 block, if somebody around here, a small block Chevrolet 400, that's what I've got. If I could find a decent small block Chevy 400 block, I would build a 406. That's a motor that I've always wanted to build ever since I was running the Camaros at BB, the mini modified stocks. But as far as Chevrolet motors, but if I can't find one, I'll cut the main journals down and put it back in my old original 388 that I had in that car, make a 388. And I don't know what I'll put it in just yet, but I want to build it back. Has cylinder skirt or machined for crank clearance. Yeah, that was another thing they said, that there's a lot of clearance have to do on the 347. Tommy Johnson build was, last time I talked to him, he was building one of them 331 or 331, 332, whatever it is. But those are screaming little motors, from what I understand. It's just a little bit longer stroke. I think it's 3 1/4 inch stroke, basically, what it is. Because it's in between the 302 and the 351 Windsor. The Windsor crank won't fit in one because the throws are just too big. Can't get your, I guess if you could even get the crank in the motor, you'd have to run a little bitty short rod to make it work. And it defeats the purpose. You'd be pushing sideways on your piston. As Jim said, the deflection would be bad. But anyway, let me check something on my phone here real quick. All right. Well, been on there about 1.5 hours. I'll probably get around and get off of here. I might shoot you a text here in a minute, Travis, or call you one, and see what's up. But Jim, I appreciate you jumping in here. I seen I had 6 in there a while ago, but I don't know how many's been in and out. I know there's been a bunch jump in here. Been a lot of trolls jump in here and say a lot of bad stuff, but I don't pay any attention to them. So anyway, I appreciate everybody jumping in. We'll get around here, and I do these lives, kind of interact with people, and it builds my watch hours up on my, trying to get my watch hours up. I still like quite a bit before I get monetized. I'm way down on watch hours. So if anybody wants to go on there and just turn some of my videos on and just let them play, I'd appreciate it. I can use the watch hours. So, but anyway, I'm gonna get on around here. I appreciate all y'all jumping in here. And Travis, I'll be hollering at you here in a minute, and we'll see what else we can do. We may do another live sometime this week. I don't know. You never know. You just never know. I'm gonna try to do another video. I tried to do the lives on Monday night. That way I don't necessarily overshadow any of the other guys that I know on here doing lives. So John Wilburn does his lives at 7 o'clock on Friday nights, and I think there's about 250 days left before Sykeston. If we go to that, which Doug's, that's what the S10's for, is try to get that live at the kart track. We may try to do that. If there's enough signal up there, we can do that. Have to catch it sometime when it's warm. Get up there maybe in the springtime when it's got fair weather, and set up a tripod and plug my phone in and just put it on live and just let it play. And be pretty easy to do. We could let it go for an hour or so or two, whatever. But yeah, we'll do that. But anyway, I'm gonna get on off here and appreciate you, Jim, for jumping in here. Jim's Fastback Garage, and I know a while ago One-Eyed Cat was in there, Unfinished Project was in there. Earlier, Colton, I done forgot his name. Anyway, the cattle company boy, and then Hot Rod Guy Garage. He's already jumped out of here. But Travis, you need to check him out. Hot Rod Guy Garage on YouTube. He's got some pretty cool stuff over there too. So anyway, I'm gonna get off here, guys. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, good to have you in here, One-Eyed Cat. I'll be trying to watch for that 440 going in that old car. Be pretty interesting. But anyhow, Russell here saying God bless you. Jesus loves you. And Outfits Garage is saying keep a hammering, guys. I'm gonna get over here and turn this camera off.